The cafeteria was loud in the way only a school cafeteria could be, metal chairs scraping, trays slamming, laughter bouncing off the walls. It was Mia's first day, and she stood near the entrance gripping her lunch tray like it might tip her over if she let go. New school, new town, same knot in her stomach. She scanned the room for an empty seat. Most tables were already claimed by invisible boarders she didn't understand yet. Athletes here, cheer squad there, a long table in the back where no one seemed to talk much. She headed that way, keeping her eyes down. That was when the laughter changed. It sharpened. Hey, new girl, a voice called. Mia froze. 3 girls stood up from the center table, confidence dripping from their posture. At the front was Brooke. Perfect hair, expensive shoes, the kind of smile that never reached her eyes. Everyone knew her name within 5 minutes of arriving at the school. Power had a sound, and hers echoed. Where do you think you're going? Brooke asked, blocking Mia's path. I'm just trying to sit, Mia said quietly. Brooke looked at her friends, amused. Did you hear that? She thinks she gets to choose. A few people laughed. Others looked away. No one intervened. Mia tried to step around them. That was a mistake. A hand shoved her shoulder. The tray tipped. Food flew. Before Mia could react, another shove sent her stumbling backward, right into the edge of a lunch table. The impact knocked the air from her lungs. Then they lifted her. Someone grabbed her arms. Someone else her legs. The world tilted as her feet left the floor. Put me down, she cried. They didn't. With a cruel burst of laughter, they threw her onto the table. Milk cartons exploded. Trays clattered to the floor. Mia landed hard, sliding through spilled food as the cafeteria erupted in shocked gasps and nervous laughter. Brooke climbed onto the bench beside her, towering over her like a queen surveying a fallen enemy. Rule number 1, she said loudly. Don't embarrass us. Mia pushed herself up, heart pounding, face burning. For a split second, fear threatened to swallow her whole. Then something else kicked in. Instinct. The cafeteria doors slammed open. The sound cut through everything. A man stepped inside, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a plain jacket and jeans. His eyes locked onto the scene in less than a second. He didn't shout. He didn't rush. He walked straight toward the table. Brooke turned, annoyed. This is a student issue. Get off the table, the man said calmly. Something in his voice made the room go quiet. Brooke scoffed. Who are you? The man looked at Mia. You hurt. Mia shook her head, still trying to breathe. I'm okay. The man nodded once. Then he turned back to Brooke and her friends. Back away. Now. They laughed again, short, uncertain this time. And if we don't? Brooke challenged. The man reached into his jacket and pulled out a badge. Not flashy, not dramatic, but unmistakable. Federal law enforcement. Every sound in the cafeteria died. I'm here visiting the principal, he said evenly. I watched the last 30 seconds. And I'm still deciding how bad this gets. Brooke's smile vanished. You, he said, pointing to one of the girls. You grabbed her arm. You, to another. You lifted her legs. And you, he said to Brooke, his gaze cold. You orchestrated it. Teachers were already moving. Phones were out. Whispers spread like wildfire. You don't understand, Brooke said quickly. It was just a joke. The man stepped closer. Assault doesn't become a joke because you're smiling. Mia slid off the table, legs shaking. The man subtly positioned himself between her and the girls. Then the real shift happened. From the corner of the cafeteria, a group of older students stood up. Athletes. Seniors. Ones Brooke usually controlled with a glance. One of them spoke. She's been doing this for years. Another added, teachers never listen. A third, we'll give statements. Brooke's face drained of color. The man nodded. Good. What followed moved fast. Administrators rushed in. The principal's voice trembled. Security arrived. Brooke and her friends were pulled aside, their protests growing louder, then desperate. Mia sat at a table wrapped in a jacket someone had given her. Her hands shook, but she felt something unfamiliar rising beneath the fear. Relief. The man crouched in front of her. You handled that better than you think. I didn't do anything, she whispered. You stayed standing, he said. That counts. Police cars pulled up outside. The bullies saw them through the windows. That's when panic hit. Brooke tried to bolt. She didn't make it 3 steps before an officer blocked her path. The other girls followed suit, scrambling, crying, begging, no longer queens, just kids facing consequences they'd never believed would come. By the end of lunch, everything had changed. Mia walked out of the cafeteria with her head up. People watched her now, not with pity, but with something closer to respect. The man walked beside her to the hallway. If anyone gives you trouble again, he said, handing her a card, you call this number. She looked at it, then at him. Thank you. He smiled slightly. Bullies rely on silence. Today, they lost it. As the bell rang and the school shifted back into motion, Mia realized something important. They had thrown her onto a table, thinking she'd break. Instead, they'd exposed themselves. And when they finally ran, it wasn't from her weakness. It was from the consequences they could no longer escape.